Welcome everybody to Games Cast by PanderNyrl. If you wish to see more commented games, please follow my YouTube and Twitch pages below. Looks like we have a Amumu in the jungle, a Misfortune Nami down bottom, Renekton up top, and a Diana in the middle lane for the blue team. On the red team, we do see a Kha'Zix. Looks like in the middle lane, Garen up top, Ezreal Karma down bottom, and a Lisa in the jungle. This is the first time I've seen Karma in basically forever, and I really hope she does well, as she's an interesting choice for support, but should work out fairly well with Ezreal and Garen as well, as Garen has to kind of run into the middle of the enemy team, and Karma's Spirit Bond can slow as she throws it on to Garen at the right time, or Lee Sin or Kha'Zix, as they all like to jump in on the enemy team. Misfortune has grabbed Cleanse, as I'm not sure that's going to be very useful this game, as there are not a lot of stuns or really hard CC coming out from the red team. The score is now 1-2, as there were several kills exchanged as we load into the game. Looks like Kha'Zix in the middle against Diana is going fairly well in favor of Kha'Zix at this point. Looks like Karma, there was a Lee Sin gank down bottom which netted those early kills, with 1 kill going to Nami and 2 kills going to the Karma, who is going for an early Doran's ring. And there are no other real interesting item choices. They've all gone fairly standard. I especially like the Crystalline Flask in the middle lane that both of our middle laners here have decided to pick up. Up top, Garen has already been forced back by Renekton, as Renekton and Garen both started off with the cloth armor. Looks like Ezreal is in a bit of trouble as he takes a large amount of damage from the Nami Misfortune. And that is just a very strong lane down bottom. And I really hope they go aggressive in a moment, as Nami is a fairly strong support, but she suffers from some of her abilities being a little interesting. And there's Karma with a big shield, and that means Nami does go down, but Misfortune might be able to take Ezreal here. Though Misfortune might pay for it, but no, Amumu does come in and save her just in time, and this will even out the kill score. But no, Karma with a big burst, picking up that Misfortune, and it is now 3-4 in favor of the red teams. They are up 500 gold, and I'm glad to see Karma doing well. I think she does a lot better since the most recent patch and the item changes, as it allows her to build a little bit more AP as she supports. Beforehand, it was a pain in the rear to get any ability power as a support, as you just didn't have the gold for it, and the support items are all clearly superior. I hope she does go a fairly ability power focused route, though I would like to see a Chalice pick up instead of that Doran's ring, just because the Chalice builds into some rather cool items, and it could definitely be useful for saving that Ezreal from a Mumu ult or the Renekton stun. Looks like Kha'Zix doing a fair bit of damage to Diana, but Diana, it was already on her way back. That will only delay her a little bit. Looks like Misfortune and Nami are grouping up to jump in on this Karma. Karma does take a fair bit of damage, but she will be just fine, as she's almost 2v1ing them down bottom. She is 4-1-0 with all of the kills on the red team, and that's kind of embarrassing, losing to a Karma that bad, especially a support Karma. Though she's going to be supporting extremely well considering all that. Kills. Looks like Amumu is coming in for a gank. He will land the bandage toss on Ezreal and pops the ultimate. Nice knockup by Nami. And this will mean Karma goes down. Looks like Ezreal will as well. Beautiful gank there by Amumu. Perfect use of his ultimate as well, as there was no chance that anyone was getting away up top. Garen and Renekton are duking out, and Garen finishes them off with the ultimate. But the tower shot does kill him, meaning that is a 1-for-1 trade. Kha'Zix in the mid lane is pushing Diana fairly hard and has prevented Diana from going back, which is actually an interesting thing, as she should have had an easy chance to go back if she wanted it. But all that pressure from Kha'Zix is keeping her there. Kha'Zix is up rather significantly in minions thanks to that. Him already having gone back. Pick up that Doran's Blade and Longsword. Lee Sin's about to complete his Wriggle's Lantern. Garen picking up the Armor Boots and Ruby Crystal. Ezreal going for the double Doran's Blade, and looks like Zerker's Greaves next. Karma has picked up a Flask here. Nami with the Doran's Shield. Rather nice choice, as it will prevent a lot of that harassment. And the Fairy Charm. Diana has gone for an early Chain Vest, opting to make sure she's safe against Kha'Zix instead of doing a bunch of damage. Renekton going for the Berserker, or going for the Brutalizer. Same thing with Miss Fortune, who has picked up a Brutalizer and Vampiric Scepter. Amumu going for the tanky build, picking up a Spirit Stone and Philosopher's Stone. So we should have an easy time sustaining himself, but it looks like Garen's getting the best of Renekton by a little bit up top. As Garen's extremely strong in this patch if he can get a good lane matchup. Looks like Diana's jumping here on Lee Sin as Lee Sin does take a fair bit of damage. Lee Sin does not have a ward if he wants to jump to it, but Kha'Zix will wisely come up through the mid and give him a nice target to safeguard to. Down bottom, it looks like Karma and Ezreal are zoning out this Misfortune and Nami. Karma is doing a very good job of saving her shields until she has enough ability power to make them useful. It looks like Ezreal does get picked up and takes a fair bit of damage from the Nami combo. That combo is going to be extremely deadly if Ezreal doesn't just arcane shift out of it. But I suspect he will start arcane shifting out of it once he gets a little bit more mana. He's burning a ton of mana on those mystic shots. And it's really not helping him, as he should be able to free farm without them. It looks like Amumu's going to come in for another gank, but wisely Karma has the Tribush warded. And they back away. Garen doing a fair bit of damage to Renekton, but Renekton getting a little better of that trade as the Garen just does a bit more damage early game. Looks like Karma's shield does save her a good bit of health, but the ultimate from Misfortune does come out, killing off all of those minions and doing a good bit of damage to Karma, keeping her fairly low. But the lower Karma does get, the better her shields become, as her passive is giving her 50 ability power at the moment, which is pretty ridiculous for just now hitting, or just about being level 6. That Karma's heal does come across as Misfortune has applied the heal debuff to her. Kha'Zix in the middle is taking a fair bit of damage and dishing it back out to Diana. Garen up top spinning to win onto Renekton, but Renekton will be forced back. Garen is just stronger in that lane. Kha'Zix does jump on Diana, and the isolation from Kha'Zix means that there is going to be a dead Diana. But Diana does get away for just a little bit and makes that an even trade in the mid lane. Good idea to actually run away from the towers. That did throw Kha'Zix off just a little bit. Looks like Amumu is coming in for a gank. And it will be a rather easy one, because it looks like a flash ultimate by Amumu. And that's a nice knockup by Nami. And Misfortune finishes him off with a double up. Beautiful Amumu ultimate. And this Amumu is really going to be able to carry this game at the rate he's going. He's incredibly far ahead of the Lee Sin, who has not gotten off more than one successful gank early. And the big thing here is Lee Sin will be coming in for a gank, but Renekton pops the ultimate. Wise move by Garen not to even attack until Lee Sin is there. Lee Sin will jump away at the last few moments. Garen spinning to win and pops the ultimate, but will he go down to the tower? Yes, he does go down to the tower. But that is worth it, as they do pick up assist gold from all of that and prevent the sizable minion wave from getting picked up by Renekton. The score is 10-7 with a 1,200 gold lead for the blue team. And it looks like bottom lane is going to be their focus, as every other lane is trading fairly evenly for the blue team. And Amumu is really strong at this point. He does almost as much CS as the other members of his team. And he has picked up a Giant's Belt. Black Cleaver finished up on Misfortune. Renekton picking up the Warden's Mail. Diana going back for a Doran's Ring. Looks like Ezreal here has picked up a pickaxe. Might be going for an Infinity Edge. Kha'Zix has picked up Brutalizer almost with the Black Cleaver. Lee Sin picking up Wriggles. And Karma with the Sightstone. Karma doing very well this game, but has just not been able to deal with Amumu and his ganks. Looks like an ultimate by Nami means Ezreal is in for big trouble. Cleanse popped up on Misfortune, and their ultimate does go out. But that is a big win for the blue team, as they expended far fewer summoner abilities there. The only ones being burned were Cleanse and the Exhaust. One on Nami and Misfortune each. Looks like Garen does come up top, but he does decide to run away rather quickly. Amumu does pop the ultimate, but it will not be enough, as Amumu does land that bandage toss, and Garen might be able to live here, but Amumu is tanky enough to tank that tower for a while, and that is another kill. But down bottom, Lee Sin has picked up Nami with the help of Karma, and that was a 1-for-1 trade, but a big advantage for the red team, as they are near bottom lane, and Amumu is top. But it does look like there's going to be a trade happening. The top tower for Dragon. Will Miss Fortune be able to get in here? She does do a fair bit of damage to Ezreal, but it's not going to be enough. And this Karma pick's been a really good one. I've been impressed. She usually gets called a joke champion, but it was more the itemization being really bad for her than anything else, as she does need a fair bit of ability power. And in this new game, or new game with all the item changes, she does get a fair bit of ability power. Looks like Kha'Zix is keeping this Diana very close to him. It doesn't allow Diana to roam, which is her real big strength at this point. And that's exactly what you want out of the mid laner, as Kha'Zix is a fairly decent counter pick to someone like a Diana, Twisted Fate, or anyone that roams around the map, as he really pushes hard and forces those towers down if you don't. Looks like Miss Fortune will be grabbing that bottom tower if she wants it, but instead she tries for the kill and is unsuccessful. Looks like Diana does pick up blue, and Garen will be pushing up top. Garen decides to go back away, likely to do golems or something similar. Miss Fortune's going to push out bottom. Amumu has picked up his Spirit Stone of the Ancient Golem. And Lee Sin going for a tanky build, grabbing up that Giant's Belt. Kha'Zix picking up the Black Cleaver. Garen is going for a Black Cleaver as well. Ruby Sightstone up onto Karma. But the nice ward by Nami in that bush means that Lee Sin won't be getting in for a gank. The score is 11-8 with a nice 2,000 gold lead for the blue team. And that's basically due to towers at this point. They're pretty even in CS across the map. And it looks like Renekton is going in for the steal of the red buff. Will Lee Sin be there in time to see it? I don't think so, as Lee Sin did venture off to go get the race instead. But having a red buff on Renekton means he's going to be a real terror in that top lane. Let's see what Karma is maxing first. She has gone for most of her points in shield, in addition to a few in the Heavenly Wave when she can. Looks like Ezreal does do some decent damage to Miss Fortune. But Miss Fortune's just going to steal it up, as she has picked up that life leech. Looks like Diana in the middle lane is going to go down here thanks to the exhaust and the Kha'Zix isolation. Up top, Renekton is jumping in onto Garen and does get the kill on Garen thanks to that red buff being just enough damage, meaning that is a 1-for-1 trade across the map. Amumu does come down here, but is spotted off. Ezreal throws out his ultimate, but it does not hit. Looks like Kha'Zix and Lee Sin might try and push this mid lane, but they will take some damage before the minions do get here. Man, this will be a nice and much needed tower for the red team. Looks like Karma is here. Karma does throw the exhaust on Miss Fortune, pops the heal on herself, but Ezreal is exhausted. Fortune can just cleanse the exhaust, and that is the big advantage she has. And it looks like the Ignite does come out and finish off Ezreal at the last moment. Or no, there wasn't an Ignite. It looks like he just did enough damage with the auto attack. Looks like Amumu is here and does get the nice bandage toss on the Kha'Zix, pops up the ultimate, but Kha'Zix will be invisible for a moment or two. And Kha'Zix will be able to run away, but they do chase him down thanks to that ward. As they did see his flash, he does apply his passive up there, but he will be taken down here, as he does not have anywhere to go. And that is a nice ward paying off. Lee Sin does not Diana back, but Lee Sin is not going to die, as he has just enough health to survive, barely living at that point. And this Renekton is looking scary at this point, having picked up the Black Cleaver. Miss Fortune with a Brutalizer after getting the Black Cleaver. Looks like Nami has picked up a Chalice in addition to the Sight Stone and Philosopher's Stone. Karma trying to do some damage in the mid, but she is just not strong enough. Here comes Garen. Will Garen be able to get in range? He might just get in range. And it looks like he is just kind of roaming around. Diana does wisely jump to minions, but that will put her ultimate on cooldown as Garen does come up. Hourglass up on Diana, and Diana will stay perfectly alive as Amumu does land. Nice his ultimate, and it will be Garen going down by this Miss Fortune. This Miss Fortune is pretty legendary at the moment, as we do see Garen having picked up his Black Cleaver, but Garen really needs to go a bit more tanky on this team. Lee Sin needs to get damage, and Garen needs to go tanky. Garen's so incredibly powerful if he does go tanky. as he just has a really good time in lane. Looks like Kha'Zix is going to catch Amumu out there, and Amumu will be going down as he does not have summoners up. Looks like Renekton's trying to jump in on Karma, but Karma will flash over the wall and use that tether to keep her alive for a little bit longer. But it does mean Renekton is in big trouble. Nami ultimate coming out there will not hit, and Kha'Zix will be forced to just leap away thanks to the reset of his wings. Nami does land a nice water bubble, but nothing much happening as she has stolen blue from the red team, and the red team is in big trouble as Misfortune does come up here, but they wisely back up from that first tower and decide to just let it go. Lee Sin is going to counter push top as the minion wave does come in. I think Misfortune was trying to get onto Garen there, but no. And this mid tower will be going down. Renekton does come up top to deal with Lee Sin. Renekton is not in good shape as Lee Sin does pop his ultimate to deal some damage to him, and he will be able to go back split pushing. Mid tower is taken down, leaving the blue team with 3 towers down. 3 towers taken down, excuse me. Looks like Amumu is down bottom, trying to, no, he decides not. He's just going to farm out the minions. I thought he would try and get on Garen, but apparently he decides against it. Looks like Garen's going for some tankiness next, picking up that chain vest. And I'd really like to see a few more armor items come out. Looks like Diana's getting jumped in by Kha'Zix, but here comes Renekton. The ultimate from Ezreal does go out. Diana wisely pops that hourglass, and she will go down. But it does mean Kha'Zix will actually get the reset on the leap, and Lee Sin does save him at the last moment. But here comes Karma, and Karma does get the save on Ezreal. And that is a 2-for-none exchange, thanks to the last moment shield by Kha'Zix and Lee Sin. Really doing a great job of keeping their team alive. Looks like Karma is going for an Aegis of the Legion next. Nami and Amumu are up here, but Lee Sin just decides to jump away, wisely moving down just a little bit to get out of the range of the bandage toss. And I don't think Nami wants to fight Lee Sin one-on-one, as Nami just doesn't do a whole lot of damage by herself. And Lee Sin will be able to get away if he chooses to. But no, he is hit by the Nami ultimate, and he does have another jump. And he does jump again off to the red buff. And that is how you play a mobile Lee Sin. He made multiple characters burn summoners and ultimates, so they are perfectly, so his team is perfectly safe. Kha'Zix does jump in on Nami, getting the isolation, but will not have any follow-up thanks to a nice bubble placed by Nami. Looks like Diana in the middle lane is here, and Kha'Zix will do a fair bit of damage. Karma comes in with a big shield, but both parties are fairly low, and the bubble does save that. And looks like Karma will be taken down from all this, but losing on Karma is not a big deal at this point, as Karma has not picked up a kill in a very long while, and it does save Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix is still in decent shape. As the red team has pinged Baron, as they might want to try it, but I don't think they will, as Ezreal, Lee Sin, and Kha'Zix are fairly good at isolating targets that are low health. Garen is just going to continue split pushing down bottom, and he should have this tower down in a little bit of time. Those voice spikes out from Kha'Zix do a real big damage. Nami does jump in there and pop the ultimate, but Ezreal will live just barely thanks to the ultimate. And it looks like Lee Sin will go down here. He did save Ezreal thanks to that ultimate. It looks like Karma is doing a fair bit of damage with that, but Nami gets taken out in the end by Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix will get the reset on his jump. Will he jump into that bush? He does, but it looks like Amumu does jump into Karma. The Karma is safe thanks to the shield, but that Misfortune ult with the big damage. Garen down bottom is split pushing away, and he has taken out the outer turret, and he might be able to get this Nexus turret at this point. There's no one really in the area, and Ezreal has thrown out a few abilities to slow everyone but Amumu down. Looks like Ezreal is going to try and jump in on Diana. Diana has just enough health to get him, or just enough mana to get him killed, and Garen has killed that bottom Nexus tower. Good work by Garen, really keeping his team in this game by pushing all those bottom towers, and the score is dead even despite a 9-kill lead. But the big problem is where the gold is. Lots of gold on Renekton, lots of gold on Misfortune. Misfortune has picked up double black cleavers, and Amumu about to finish the Sunfire Cape. Warden's Mail up on Renekton. Renekton might be going for a Hydra or something with those double regrowth, or what are they, regrowth pendants? Rejuvenation beads. Diana has completed her Zanya's Hourglass and a Blasting Wand. Looks like Kha'Zix with the Brutalizer and going for a second Black Cleaver. Lee Sin picking up the Warmongs and a little bit of armor. Ezreal has gone for an Infinity Edge. And we do see Karma going for the Edge of the Legion after the Ruby Sightstone. Lee Sin is going to come in here and try and stop this dragon. Will he have enough? He just might, but no. Amumu does smite it just a little better. But Karma is in here doing a fair bit of damage, and Misfortune will be taken low, but thanks to her cleanse, she does get out of the red buff. Lee Sin does jump over the wall after Nami, and he will be able to get at least one kill out of this, as he does wait wisely for that to finish. Lee Sin is in the area, but Misfortune does live thanks to a nice timely Nami heal. And Amumu does pop a beautiful ultimate off, and everyone from the red team's going down, as Garen does not actually enjoy this fight. But it is a 3 for 4, just slightly thanks to that another amazing Amumu ult. Amumu, who is in 15 of his team's kills at this point and absolutely dominating this game. And if the red team had waited for Garen, they might have actually won that fight, because Garen does do a very strong amount of damage, as he has picked up the Atma's Impaler in addition to the Black Cleaver. Garen does get 37 attack damage from the Atmas and gives him a good bit of armor and critical strike. I like that pickup on him, as he does benefit greatly from every single one of those statistics. Looks like Tiamat up on Renekton, and I do like that choice, as his stun will proc Tiamat multiple times. Looks like Kha'Zix has DC'd, but should be back in just a moment. We do see any other changes. Sunfire Cape has been completed on Amumu, and he will likely go for the Shirley's Reverie. Next, Hydra up on Renekton now, as he should be doing a real ton of damage with all of that. And even opting for a red potion he can pop mid-combat to really bait people in once he gets low. Because with his ultimate and the red potion, he's getting, let's see here, 450 and about 200, so about 650 health from both of those. Kha'Zix has reconnected, and the red team can start back on their split push if they so choose. Because they were really doing well when Garen was split pushing. They might not have been winning the fights, but they were grabbing all those towers and putting a ton of pressure in on the map. And if he can grab that inhibitor, it will mean the Baron will be open, as they will have to send Misfortune or someone like Renekton down bottom to actually hold it. It's like Lee Sin does jump in, takes a good bit of damage, but does have the ability to jump out. Nice shield by Karma. Really chunks Amumu's health down, but Amumu is very tanky at this point and will not be going down lightly. Amumu should have his bandage toss up any second now, but decides not to throw it out. Looks like the blue team will be taking the red buff, and it will be donated over to Misfortune, and they are just going to steal the jungle away. A very wise move, as there's not a whole lot they can do. But they are standing on a ward at the moment, and the blue team wisely just decides to back up, not try to sit there for a bait. Lee Sin's going to try and come in from the side. Will he be able to actually get in? No, he decides against it and just waits for his team. There's a huge minion wave pushing down bottom. And while I don't think you can kill the inhibitor, that's really hard to pass up for the blue team. So they have just pinged it, and yeah, we can see how big that is. That's a lot of caster minions. They will do a good bit of damage to that inhibitor should they actually get on it. And as soon as someone like Misfortune goes down bottom, there is going to be a big push by the red team. Looks like Garen jumps in here and will land the silence onto Diana, but Misfortune backs Garen up as Garen gets down real low thanks to a few shots from her. Looks like Deathcap will be next on Diana's wish list, as the red team is going to try and push this tower down. Garen is going up top to pick up that big minion wave, but they all back up and go back into a stalemate. It is a 2,500 gold lead for the blue team, and they're really not ahead by very much, even though it feels like that, as they've swung the momentum thanks to the beautiful set of Amumu ganks. Right now we do see an Aegis of the Legion up onto Karma, who has completed her Ionian boots in addition to the upgraded version. The upgraded version is Home Guard. I don't know why people keep picking up Home Guard unless you're behind. Other than the fact that it looks really fun. Because if you're behind, and especially if the team's pushing real hard, Home Guard does do a lot of damage, or a lot of healing rather quickly, and allows you to get back and protect inhibitors and inhibitor turrets. Misfortune has picked up a BF sword and will likely be going for that Vampire or Bloodthirster next. Garen is seen out here, but Renekton does come in. Will Renekton be able to land a stun? No. He is just out of range as Lee Sin does come in and trying to land that Sonic Wave. We do see Ezreal has picked up a Brutalizer next. How much gold are we sitting on there? A good bit of gold on both Garen and Ezreal at this point, with only a lot of gold on Renekton for the blue team. And this will be a fight at Baron should one want it. Lee Sin does land a nice Sonic Wave onto Amumu. And Amumu's basically waiting there for ward. But Lee Sin wisely just hits Baron. Sonya's Hourglass burned by Diana. She would have been knocked up by Baron. Amumu does land his ultimate and a nice bandage toss, but it is not on the primary targets as Garen does get in that fight and really spins to win. Nami should be able to pop her ultimate at this point. She does pop it from the back, and it will hit just Lee Sin and Ezreal, but Ezreal does go down, and the red team just does not have the damage to finish anything off, as it looks like Diana does jump in there and finish Garen, and it is a 2-for-none fight in favor of the blue team. Looks like Kha'Zix does jump up, but he will not get the isolation on Nami, as Nami did decide to go a different direction, and now it is 3-for-0, and the blue team is in a commanding position. Blue team can easily push down an inhibitor at this point, like Renekton's doing. Amumu is going back because he's low, and he will pick up all those juicy minions down bottom. First inhibitor of the game is going to go down at about the 29-40 mark here, as the red team just had a little too much damage, and the red team did not have enough damage to win these fights, as their AD carry is just pretty far behind at this point. That's about what it comes down to. Looks like Lee Sin's going to take a fair bit of damage, but he will just safeguard away at the last second. Looks like Ezreal does pop his ultimate to kind of check where things are, but not a whole lot going on at this point. Amumu does clear that bottom lane. Looks like Nami might be caught out, but the Make It Rain for Misfortune does save her rather nicely, as everyone was slowed. Deathcat picked up on Diana, Ruby Sightstone, in addition to the Chalice up on Nami. It looks like Shirley's Reverie up on Amumu. We do see a Zeal up on Ezreal, likely going for that Static Shiv. Garen is going for a Warmongs next, so he can actually stay alive in these fights. And looks like we are going to see a Last Whisper up on Kha'Zix next. Lee Sin jumping in, trying to get on to Misfortune. He does land it on, but there is the blue team here to really round it out. Nice Amumu ultimate, and everyone from the red team is going down very low, as Garen will spin to win, but not enough, as he just is not tanky enough at this point, and the red team is in deep trouble at this point. None of their characters are really that tanky. Amumu lands another beautiful bandage toss, and this Amumu has been absolutely outstanding this game, really snowballing that bottom lane after they had a rough start thanks to a few beautiful Karma shields. And this just comes down to Amumu knowing how to jungle. Top lane was beaten down pretty hard at the beginning of the game as Garen traded several kills out, and Diana was trading evenly with Kha'Zix early, but then it came to that bottom lane and you have a Misfortune with double black cleavers. It's pretty hard to beat that come team fight stage, and Amumu realized that and snowballed that lane. Looks like Karma will be taken down here, as she just doesn't offer a whole lot in these team fights, not having any crowd control abilities at all. So it looks like we do see a Last Whisper up on Kha'Zix. Karma has finished a Runic Bulwark thanks to that little bit of minion farming. Crucible up on Nami. Looks like Garen's going to try and run in here, but no, he decides against it. Looks like Nami does land her bubble and a nice Crescent Strike from Diana. But there's drop on Misfortune. Kha'Zix does throw down those Vorpal Spikes. Are they Vorpal or Void? I never understood that, but it is Void. Okay, his are Void. And right now, I'm not sure what the red team's going to be able to do at this point, outside of just let Ezreal get the bunch of farm, as they are down pretty heavily. Renekton is winning very big this game, thanks to a huge minion lead. Though he is not that much on Garen, he's up that much on everyone else but Garen. And he's really used that lead well. Looks like Misfortune will almost be caught out by Kha'Zix. Right now we do see... I'm not sure what Diana is going to be building out of that needlessly large rod. But I don't think they're going to let the game go on that long. Ezreal has completed the static shiv. Garen almost with the Warmongs. Looks like Lee Sin's just grabbing a bunch of armor at this point. We might see an engagement bottom, and the blue team wisely going bottom, as bottom is the most important inhibitor, as it is the farthest away from Baron. And if you can get the bottom inhibitor, go for it. Amumu does miss the advantage toss by Diana, still jumps in, flash farm by Amumu. But it is not very effective, as it only hits Lee Sin and Garen. And it looks like Amumu might be caught out here, as Ezreal does pick up a kill. And this will slow down the push, but they do still get a tower on the back end. Looks like he's just trying to deal with Misfortune, but Kha'Zix comes in here with a big damage. Finish him off, and it is a 2-0 trade in favor of the red team. But here comes Diana, and Ezreal will flash away at the last moment. Kha'Zix getting this Nami low, but because Nami was isolated, she gets absolutely torn to shreds. And it looks like right now they are going to just bum rush that bottom inhibitor. If they can get the bottom inhibitor, they have a chance. Looks like Garen might be caught out by Diana. But no, he decides to just bum rush it. He's not going to be there before Amumu's up. As Amumu is up in about 10 seconds, so Garen decides to go do red buff instead. Lee Sin might be trying to go do dragon here, as Diana will catch him out. But I do think Lee Sin will duel favorably against Diana, just due to the fact Lee Sin is so incredibly tanky at this point. Garen does jump over the wall and spins to win. Diana does pop her hourglass and waits for Renekton. But Lee Sin does go down. Diana dead as well, but Renekton's in a heap of trouble as Renekton just jumps over the wall. But Kha'Zix does pursue and finishes him off, making that a very favorable trade for the red team. And this Kha'Zix is pretty legendary at this point. He has picked up a Giant's Belt and a Doran's Blade. And if anything's going to carry him, it's going to be him isolating Misfortune and Nami and keeping them out of the fight. That's how the red team's going to win these fights. It's not going to be by outdueling or catching someone. It's going to be by Kha'Zix isolating the AD carry in the back and really not allowing them to do a whole lot. Any new other interesting items? Looks like Bloodthirster completed on Misfortune. Warden's Mail up on Amumu. Shirley's Reverie completed by Nami. Karma with another... What is that? I can never see that. Emblem of Valor. Lee Sin with a Warden's Mail. Garen has completed his Warmongs. Ezreal has finished off a Black Cleaver. And we should see another big fight. There's only a 2,000 gold difference between the teams. And the biggest thing is, 2,000 gold is not that much at this point in the game. And that is a 12 kill lead for the blue team. But still, only 2,000 gold. Kind of surprised it's that close considering the kill score. But they got a lot of kills on people that weren't worth very much, like this Karma. And this Lee Sin, and Garen, and even Ezreal. All the kills have been up on Kha'Zix. Looks like Garen does get caught out, but here comes Kha'Zix really isolating that Misfortune and doing a ton of damage to him. But Garen does finish off Misfortune, and this might not be a favorable fight. Lee Sin will go down on the back, but Kha'Zix is here, taking a good bit of damage, and he does use a sleep to jump away. That is a 2-for-1 in favor of the blue team. Karma does get picked up and taken out, making that a 3-for-1. And now that is a very favorable engagement. The inhibitor has just respawned for the red team, but it is not long for this world, as I'm not sure if Ezreal has the damage. Renekton does try to jump in, but he is not away. Nami does exhaust Ezreal, but Ezreal does come back and do a fair bit of damage. Diana just dump on Ezreal, and Ezreal does go down to the Ignite. Kha'Zix is stunned as soon as he jumps in, thanks to Renekton. Looks like Kha'Zix will have to wait for his next jump, but no, he is picked off, making that a full ace for just Misfortune. And as soon as they kill Misfortune, they did get the kill on Misfortune, but it was a little too costly, as Lee Sin and Garen were not able to tank for the rest of the team. In addition to that, Kha'Zix had to burn everything just to get the Misfortune, and they had no real follow-up damage, as Ezreal was just a little too far out on that fight to actually join it. Looks like Last Whisper has been picked up on Misfortune after the double Black Cleavers. We do see an Aegis of the Legion up onto Karma, as I do believe those both stack at this point in time, as the debuffs are different. And at this point, the red team really needs to find a pick-off. Diana has completed a Deathfire Grasp, and that means whoever she jumps on is going to be dead near instantly, even if they have a ton of health. Lee Sin does ward Baron, and the blue team has pinged it, meaning they will be going in for Baron in just a moment. Amumu with that Oracles does spot the ward, and they decide to try and bait it out. We'll grab the ward here in the river. And it looks like they're just going to back up and continue to bait. But considering they did not clear the ward at Baron, looks like Kha'Zix is throwing out a bit of harassment damage, but it's not going to be a whole lot. And at this point, if they can kill Misfortune and not die to Diana, or not have Ezreal die to Diana, the red team can win a fight. But if they don't get to Misfortune and kill her before the fight starts, it's over real quick. Renekton has completed a Guardian's Angel and is in real prime position to just burst someone down. Looks like Nami does throw the buff onto Misfortune. And they will be starting off Baron. Ezreal is down bottom and will not be able to join this fight. Looks like the only way the red team is going to get it is a steal by Lee Sin, but they wisely just block him out. He does go in and he does take Baron, and Amumu does lay his ultimate down. Lee Sin does jump in the pit, but Misfortune is just outside the pit, and there's no stopping her if you can't get to her. Kha'Zix is down. Looks like we do see Garen taken down as well. Amumu lands a nice bandage tossed with the follow-up with Diana is good enough. Renekton is jumping up here on Ezreal, and Renekton will easily be able to get that kill on Ezreal, as Renekton is really strong at this point, sitting on the Ravenous Hydra, Bloodthirster, Black Cleaver, Guardian's Angel, and Warden's Mail. And this should be a good game, as the only one they killed is Misfortune. And when the only person you kill is Misfortune, you're not in good shape, especially considering they already had 2 inhibitors down. And that will be a good game, thanks to the beautiful ultimates of Amumu. It seems every single one of his ultimates hit multiple people each time, and that was just very impressive by him. And including that, Renekton was able to jump on whoever he wanted in the team fights and pick off the squishiest of those bruisers. A little sad to see Karma lose, but she had a very good early game. And as I said, Amumu was the superstar of this game. Give him all the credit for that, as he made those bottom ganks work and really snowballed that lane. In addition to in team fights, landing beautiful 3- and 4-person ultimates that just really made his team amazing. And back at the score screen, we will give a nice check out here. And yeah, look at how farmed Renekton is. Renekton, easily the highest farm in the game by a big bit. And it really shows in his items. I do like the pickup of the Ravenous Hydra on Renekton, as it gives him another way to clear the waves. And if he gets into a team, gets people grouped up in a team fight, for example by Diana jumping in and pulling everyone in, you can hit every single person in there multiple times, up to 3 with his stun, as it does swing 3 times.
Thank you for watching Games Cast by PanderNyrl. If you wish to see more, follow my YouTube and Twitch pages below.